Hello.
Hey,
Hey, how do you do?
how do you do? We're
That's a
live.
something. Oh, we are. We're live. Oh, look at us just going live. Right. We're back with another roster rescue show, joined by Taylor Christensen. This is our first show together.
Yeah, it's a lot faster than I would have expected, actually. I haven't quite been here a year, and I figured you would have some sort of a buffer before you would let new faces like me grace the same screen as yourself. So I appreciate you having me on today's show.
It's fun stuff. We're talking roster rescues. People are going to be submitting questions. We got lineups to review. We got questions to review. I put an APB out. I know people have been asking about the nerd score going live, and that is annually scheduled to be released today. That's always the plan, a year ahead of time. So today is the day. One of our nerd score members is dealing with a personal issue, though, so that might delay it a day, but you'll have it before the NFL draft. So if it's not today, most likely tomorrow. Get a lot of questions about the rookie app as well. If you're in the nerd herd, that should be dropping a link to that very soon as well. Like any new apps, we had a slight snag in development, and it should be done. It could be any second now. It could be any minute. It could be any hour. The crux of it is done. So we're just trying to get it up into the App Store. And don't worry, there's no refunds to be had because you all in the nerd herd are getting it for free. Should be a pretty dope app, and you're going to have it before your rookie draft, which is the most important time to have it. So all that good stuff is on the horizon. And speaking of good stuff, boys, what are we looking at first here on roster rescue? And remember, if you want to get your roster rescued, glorious nuke button from Harvey.
We got a nuke from Harvey. Yep. We finally got his roster in. Yep.
Okay, got his roster in. Okay. So I know the 1-2 is picking a QB. Therefore, I like the idea of going with Genty at 1-1 and Hampton at 1-3. If you guys could also let me know your thoughts on that. So this is a super flex tight end premium league, and he knows QB is going 1-2. He's so I'm leaning Genty 1-1. You and the rest of the world outside, I would say this. I had somebody ask me about this, and I talked to my buddy John Glosser, who's our leading IDP analyst. And the only time Genty might not go 1-1 is if you play in an IDP league. And then you could double dip with Travis Hunter as an elite receiver and an elite cornerback. Besides that, any format, Superflex, tight end premium, family reunion leagues, anything, even over your grandpa, you're taking Ashton Genty there. He is the stud that you want to add to your roster. Hunter is a unicorn. So look at this roster. He has 1-1 and 1-3, Pete.
Yep. He has 1-1, 103, 111, 205, 206, 208. So it might be good to kick this off with a mock.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Well, let me see his roster first.
Okay.
I don't know why it's so blurry on my end. I can't really.
Oh, I'll zoom in. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, there you go. Oh, thank you so much for your support. So he's in Dynasty. We're in Dynasty mode here. He is looking thin. He's got a lot of draft capital, which is going to boost up his Dynasty overall total, but not too much. And he's still at number 11. He's sitting there with two quarterbacks, 2.5 quarterbacks, Brock Purdy and Sam Darnold. And he's got Russ Wilson, Jameis Winston. The cupboards are bare at running back. That is uglier than me looking in the mirror. But then you scroll down to the receiver position. We are looking. Okay, I mean, it could be worse. You got BT, so you got a very elite prospect. You got Ricky Pearsall, who's a nice upside prospect. Outside of that, you got a hope and a prayer with Bateman and Wicks out there. Jalen Polk, possibly, probably not. Jermaine Burton, can he even show up on time to the meeting rooms? Who knows? Probably not. Excited about the Isaiah Likely pick there with Mark Andrews possibly moving within the next 6 days here, because it is the NFL draft week, people. I know you guys are all sitting out there tantalizing, getting blood flow to all the right areas where you need it. And so we're looking here with 1-1, 1-3, 111, 2-5. And is that 2-6, Peter?
206, 208.
he has got some capital to build on this team. So we probably should do a mock, Taylor
The
and Peter.
the only
He
other
does
thing I've
not
noticed,
have
though,
his 26
Yeah.
or 27 first. So
Oh, goodness gracious, great balls of fire.
I think we'll be looking at that right after the mock, probably.
Okay. Yeah. Which means it doesn't even matter who we take at 1-3.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
Yeah. We should be moving back here. And honestly, what I would be right out the gates before we get into this, Harvey, with no 26 and no 27 picks, I would be very interested in trading this 1-1 and trying to get my picks back plus capital this year. I mean, Genty's going to hold that kind of price tag. And yes, is he an elite running back prospect? Yes, but your team isn't strong enough to really start building around running backs. Even the idea that you had at 1-3 taking Hampton. I guess we could do the let's say he says, screw you, Taylor. Your ideas are terrible. I am taking Ashton Genty. I love the name. I love the look. I disvalue your opinion. I'll do what Rich says, but not what you say. And if you say trade it, then I'm not doing that. Let's see what we're going to look at there. So let's start with the crux of that. Because I know the 1-3, he said, oh, I'm thinking about taking Hampton, which I would definitely take Trevion Henderson over Martin Hampton. What happened to the mock? Oh,
it's just kind of glitching out right now. I'm working on it though. We'll get it fixed.
It's most likely because of all the app updates we're doing today.
Yeah. So we have it's 101, 103, 111.
Yeah.
Just needing to add this in.
And 2526.
So we've got Harvey is in the chat here saying he does have his second, third, and fourth, but I mean your team's in need of your first back, especially for 2026. So
I wouldn't even say for 2026. I'm more focused by the 27 draft class. If I had to pick one pick back, if you had to pick one or the other, that's the one I'm picking. So 1-1, he's taking Genty, right? You almost have to force pick 2, Peter, too, because he said they're taking quarterback.
Oh, okay.
Sure. But I mean, listen, this is chalk then when we get to there. 1-1's Genty is the pick. 1-2 is going to be Cam Ward more likely. So you said 1-3, should I take Hampton is where you're leaning towards. And I don't know what you guys think, but right out the gates, my strong opinion would be that's a hard pass. Because if you don't want to move 1-1 and you want to keep Genty, which again, he's being price point as a top 4 dynasty wide receiver. So like that price point is going to be hard to change drastically, right? Like if he's being valued already in like that Jahmyr Gibbs role, like running back 3 overall, like that's a pretty good, bar to assume his trade value. So we'll look at some rosters here where we can kind of make that move. At 1-3, even if I kept Genty and you're not moving out, like I'm not taking another running back. You don't have 2 good running backs. Now, could you trade one there? Possibly, but I am leaning like you could definitely use that third receiver. And for me, Travis Hunter is in a tier all by himself at receiver. So that's where I would lean if I stood at 1-3. But again, even 1-3, I'm trying to move back a little bit and pick up extra capital. Can I get my own first, like Taylor said, next year back in 2027 and the first I have this year for that elite prospect? Because you're just trying to build a stronger foundation. Because right now your foundation is built on sticks, and you need really a concrete foundation. Because right now, Big Bad Wolf can come over and he can give you some trouble with that home that you're building over there. So with me, I mean, I guess we have to look at the other teams, Peter, really to see who's even interested in moving up at 1-3. Because you would imagine you're right, like that. If you stay at 1-1, like who needs because even in dynasty mode, we could look at dynasty mode, like who needs a running back? Is this in running back? So you're at the bottom. Like who's at 11? Like what does this guy have? Let's start off with the guy who gets us the closest to where we are. Because right now, even going from 1-2 to 1-3 to 1-1 still get you a pretty price tag back. So he has 1.
So 1-6.
do we just want? I mean, we got to get our first back, right? Do we want to use this as our leverage to get our first back if we can? Should that be our first? Is just like Like if we
See,
can't get our 26 or 27 first back, we almost have to compete though. Like, I mean, we have no.
it doesn't
You
matter.
can't.
It's irrelevant.
You
What is it?
can't
I know, but
compete.
I know that's what I'm saying. So you say you can't compete. So like, who cares what the guy who has your first has? It's irrelevant if he has 1-1 or 1-4 to you. It doesn't really matter to you. So
this team does have his 2026 first and 2027 first, and
okay.
he has Bucky Irving, and that's it.
So can we go down and see what picks he has this year?
I believe he has a 104.
104. Yep. So here's my first offer right out the gates, Harvey. I'm offering him 101 for my 27 first back and 104. That's my first offer out the gate. Because he's going to be very, very interested in Ashton Genty, like any other owner should be. And he might be willing to pay that first 2 years down the road. It's not his first for the 1-4. That's my first move right out the gates. Yes, I've had luck. This comes from Dan Hass. He said, hey, you guys have any luck buying your own first back? In my experience, if you're a bad team, only way to get your first back is really overpaying. And sometimes it can be an overpay, slightly, but like it seems like an overpay on paper. But like when you get on the clock, that 1-1's worth usually more than what you paid. So with 26 not being as good as 27, as bad as this team is, my focus here is my 27 first. I think it's easier to get back as well from that standpoint because 2 years out. If this owner, and I'm offering this today because I don't really want the NFL draft to really kind of push up those running backs because I don't want this owner to think like, oh, I know 1-2's taking a quarterback 2, and I can easily sit here and get Hampton or Henderson, whoever he doesn't take at 1-3. So that's my first move is offer him 1-4, 1-1 for my 27 first back. That's a good move. And honestly, if he says no to that, I would honestly offer him 1-1. And I'd offer him that like 2-8. What do we have? Like 2-8? We have like 2.
Yeah. We have 205, 206, and 208.
Yeah, I'd offer 208 and my 1-1 this year for 1-4 and my 27 first back if I had to. Because I think that's very essential is getting your 27 first back. Because I don't think you're going to take leaps and bounds next year to increase that pick as well. So I think that's the first move I'm going to make there.
I will throw this out there just because looking at this league a little bit on the back end, one of the other teams has 7 of the first round picks in 2027. So if I'm Harvey, I'm concerned that this other guy with my 27 first might trade him to that other manager and I'll never see it again. Like if that guy who's collecting 27 first gets a hold of our 27 first before us, I mean, I don't think we're ever going to get that back. So not all leagues are like that, but someone is out there collecting all these 27 first. So even more than what you were saying, Rich, like this is almost like an emergency trade situation. I feel like where you need to go out and you need to aggressively make this happen in the next 2-3 days if you possibly can.
Yeah, you got to be proactive. It's like any dynasty league. You don't want anybody else to get, take the first bite of the cake on the fork, and then you have to get that second bite. You don't know if they have herpes. You don't want to be that guy. So for me, yeah, I agree. And this team right here that has the 1-4, they look like, listen, they're in the same boat. They have a lot of seconds, so they've made a lot of trades. They've been getting seconds. So this is a draft that they're definitely interested in. Like I said, the 1-1 for the 1-4 and your 27 first doesn't work. I can understand that. You offering 2-8, I think would really interest this guy as well. Cause now he's like, wow, I own the second round. I have the 1-1. I can use the draft capital to move up. But again, it's always in the eyes of the beholder. So you can't just automatically assume that's going to work.
Would you consider trading the 103 for our 26 and 27 first back? If he would do that?
If he would do that, yeah, I would. For sure.
I mean, 2 firsts for the 103 in a class like this, that doesn't sound like a bad offer to me.
Yeah.
I guess.
And then you would just move Genty in season at some point. If he booms for, again, multiple picks, it's nice to get ahead of that for like what's nice is in season, you probably get a young player back and a 27 first for Genty, like a player you like. Maybe somebody goes down with a torn ACL week 2, but it's a player you like. But I like that idea too, Taylor. If he doesn't take the 1-1 for 1-4 and 27 first, you give him 1-3 for 26 and 27. Does that get done? I mean, yeah, does it suck giving up 1-3? Yeah, but you're going to have most likely 1-2, 1-1 next year. You're going to have a very high pick in 27. So getting your own first back is definitely high priority because you obviously sold those picks for something and it did not work out into your favor. So that is a move that is like Taylor said, that's got to be priority one for you, is getting back that draft capital. And if you can't, if anything, that like you still might want to be trying to trade back. You want to trade back for, if you keep 1-1, you are going to want to trade back for 1-3. If you can't find any partners, running back is not the answer. You're not coming on this draft with 2 running backs. I mean, now the flip side of that, guys, is like, do you take Trevian Henderson? Me and Gary were talking about this on the Nerd Show. Do you, instead of taking Travis Hunter, which is who I would take, you could also say if Trevian Henderson gets first round pedigree, Hampton gets first round pedigree, then you take that running back in hopes they are a smash out the gates, a la, Jonathan Taylor rookie year, ends up as a high, Jonathan Taylor was running back 1 overall, but a top 3 running back. Do you make that move and then trade that running back? It's always a gamble when you take the running backs. That's it. So for me, I'd rather take the guy who I need and I feel very confident in being like an elite prospect, and that's Travis Hunter at 1-3 if I cannot trade back. But I definitely like your idea of, if I can't move the 1-1 for this, offering the 1-3 for my first back. It's just going to really come down to this owner and how much are they willing to move off these picks and how much they value this draft class.
Yeah, assuming we can get something done with those picks, I think if we jump back to our roster, Pete, I mean, there's nothing on this team right now, Rich. We've got Brock Purdy, and if we go by, we trust our values for the app, we don't even have another asset on our team before the draft that's over, 1,200 in a valuation. That's
other than Brian Thomas.
This is one of the most dire rescue situations that we've seen. What are you going to do with Brian Thomas? Are you keeping him and building him, or like what? Where are we getting more assets for this team?
Yeah, but that's the cornerstone of your team. If you're going to start rebuilding, you don't have any future first. You need a cornerstone player. The guy I traded with is a hard guy to trade with. I overpaid him for the 1-3. I gave him 27 first, 26, and my 2-2.
Oh, no.
I made big. Oh wow, that was a
That's
clock.
the trade you'd be hoping for.
Wow, so you're not getting and my 2s. Well, I mean, I guess here's a way to look at that too. For the 1-3, if you offered him 1-3 back, you're letting him. The way he could look at that possibly is he got the 2-2 for free. But hey man, yeah. I over like shot my shot here. Like I completely miscalculated my team. Let me go ahead. You want to make this trade back and I'll just let you keep 2-2. Like that's a very good possibility that could happen. But if not, again, Harvey, you're still, the first thing you're trying to do is trying to move back to 1-4 and get your 27 first back, and give him 1-1 because Genty is worth that. Like it's not even like you're trying to get over him. Like that's a fair value trade in my eyes. Ending up with Genty. So yeah, you made a mistake. You shot yourself in the foot, and now you're trying to run a marathon. And unfortunately, right now it's going to be really hard to win that marathon. So that does suck because now you, like, the person we're trying to trade is the guy who you made the trade with originally. So can we put us in contender? So this is a contender mode.
Yep.
Pete, let me see teams 2 and teams 5's QBs.
Yeah.
Shane Daniels.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What picks?
Nothing.
Can we scroll down to his picks?
Oh, what picks? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh, he's got no picks.
I mean, he has a 2026 first and a 27 first.
Here, I'm offering this team. I don't even care. This to get the value. I'm offering this guy Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston as a package for his 2027 second. Again, because I want more draft capital. This guy could use a quarterback. He's a contender. He's the second team ranked contender. His second quarterback right now is a massive question mark with Derek Carr and Aaron Rodgers there. So I think that's it. I think it's a smash. If I was that team, even though I hate Russell Wilson more than any other fantasy football player in the history of fantasy football, I would smash accept that.
Yeah.
just because like I need that depth at quarterback, and getting Jameis and Ryan Wilson would be for just a second is a good move by that owner. So I'm offering that number 2 owner, Russell Wilson, and Jameis for his 27 second. Who knows how that team will look like in 2026? There's a chance it could be a high second, it could be a late second. But at this point, like you're just looking for more bullets in the gun, right? You need as much draft capital as possible because you have so many holes to fill. And having 2 seconds is a good starting point.
We want to get rid of Sam Darnold, right, Rich? In this team, we want to tank. Assuming we can get our first back, we're going to go and grovel to the manager. We're going to offer him the 101 for both firsts and something if we absolutely have to. But what do we do with Sam Darnold? Because he's likely to depreciate after this season. I feel like at some point his value, if he performs poorly, will just drop off, and then he's a dead asset to us. Like, should we be trading him before the draft as well, do you think, or maybe wait until we see?
I wouldn't personally, just because I don't think Sam Darnold is valued very high. Like, what are you going to get for Sam Darnold? Are these teams that need a quarterback, that are in contender mode that need a quarterback? I need to see the whole roster. We can't just put in QB mode, Pete, because we want to see if their teams are good or not.
Yep.
So, I mean, like Sam Darnold, are you going to get this guy's 26 first for Sam Darnold? But then you have also a massive hole at quarterback now too, to go with all your other holes. And that's the hardest hole to fill. Like, you're better off, in my opinion, gambling on Sam Darnold. Like, if you can get a first for Sam Darnold, here's the thing, Taylor, you give up Sam Darnold, you just get a first back. That's all you're getting. Now that first is probably not going to be a high first. You have to gamble then, like that pick. Now you need a quarterback. So you have to gamble on that pick. You're better off hoping for how young Sam Darnold is, that he does pan out in Seattle and he does turn into a solid quarterback. Because then that's just one less hole you have to fill. Otherwise, even at first you get, now you have 2 firsts, but you have no quarterbacks. You have 1 quarterback on your roster. You have Brock Purdy. That's it. Like, I think that sets you back even farther with how many holes you have to fill. I think at 1-3, if you can't move off 1-3, get Travis Hunter, at least that gives you Brian Thomas, Travis Hunter, and Ricky Pearsall, right? Now we have the 4 corners of our foundation set, and our quarterbacks are fine for the 4th foundation. And I like Isaiah Likely there for Baltimore. I think he ends up getting extended. I think he ends up being the starting tight end there. So that's really good. So that just leaves us, Taylor, with our hole would be mostly as our wide receiver 4 and running backs. So that's going to be a quicker rebuild compared to just trying to dump Sam Darnold forever. To be worse. Because I don't think with no running backs in the receiving position, the receiving core the way it is, like, I don't think you have to worry about your team being bad next year. Like, that's not a key. And like I said, right now, the running back class does not look great. Guys will step up. The whole class overall doesn't look good. So you're really kind of looking to fill those holes at running back mostly in 2027 first. So your 26 first you get back, it's going to be high. You're taking best player available. It doesn't matter. And then 2027 is where you really look to take a big step forward with this roster. Same position where, like, you hope in 2026 you have a high draft pick, you trade back, you get more capital, right? You get proven guys plus a first, or a young upside running back plus a first. You start setting yourself up for 2027 there. But I don't think Sam Darnold, like moving off Sam Darnold, I think just all that does is create another hole for a value that you're going to get back. It's going to be hard to fill that hole.
Yeah, I think if you're hoping for Sam Darnold to be productive and more than a 1-year starter, you definitely want to be the one holding him. I guess the risk is, does he fall off a cliff at some point, or do they draft a quarterback early in this year's draft, and then all of a sudden there's questions surrounding his security? But I hear what you're saying. As far as the 2027 first, Pete, why don't we pull up the 9th team in Dynasty mode? If we go to the Dynasty side of things and we go down to their picks, this is the guy collecting the 27s. So we've got a lot of 27 firsts that we could potentially get. And if we go to his roster, if we scroll to the top, we have they're in need of a quarterback. They are in need of a running back, maybe Genty, maybe 103. Would you be trying to make a package or some sort of a major offer to this manager to try and get some of those 27 firsts now and try to push? I would almost try to match up my roster with theirs, Rich. If can I give you all my best productive guys and try to help you be a contender this year? Can I make you a real contender for as many of these 27 firsts as I can get back using my draft capital? And I guess we just talked about Sam Darnold, but if the price was right, maybe. What do you think?
Yeah, see, again, sometimes, on social media and situations like this, it's easy to project and just say, like, "Get this, it's fair value, and this is fair." And it's why people send these pictures like, "Oh, this is fair." It all comes down to the owner, the team owner. And when I see what the owner has, he obviously is collecting 27 firsts for a reason, right? Like, he's given up his picks this year and next year for 27 firsts. So he's obviously very interested in those 27 firsts. Like, that clearly shows just here on paper. So for us just coming here and here's some assets for all these 27 firsts, like, I feel like he's gonna be a little bit hesitant to give those up. Now, the 1-1 is very valuable. I'm still sticking with our first offer. That's the number one offer I want to make if I can make it done. I said 2-8 and 1-1 for 1-4 and our 27 first back. That's the first offer off the board I got to make. Like, that's the one I'm really pushing for, because that helps you now, because now you have 1-3 and 1-4. So again, it helps you move out of 1-3 because now you have 1-4, and it also helps you if you want to move out of 1-4. You might still be in an elite position to get Travis Hunter at 1-4, which would be nice. Can we see who these receivers are? I'm just wondering if there's anything here. Justin Jefferson. So, I mean, he's got a competitive win now receiving core. He's got one running back. Is that what he had? One running back. So Genty
got two.
And Connor. Okay.
And he's got Trey McBride as his tight end. So this person is
ready to win now.
I mean, I think if I was this manager, if I wanted to, I could spend 3 of those 2027 firsts and really put myself into a contending position. So that's why I'm wondering if we wanted to maybe be the one to make that happen for them. Sometimes if you're the first one at the door, they're willing to give you a little bit of a better situation. I don't know, but
listen,
he's
got a lot of offers to send here. He's got a lot of work to do. So, like, he's going through the progressions here. Like, if the 1-1 doesn't work, that 1-3 trade doesn't work, maybe this is going to be the next avenue. You're right, just to see another door slammed in your face. It's always possible. But listen, you can't find true love if you don't keep knocking. So we're going to have to keep knocking here. What were you going to say, Peter?
How many random 2027 firsts do you need for the 101?
3. And one of them has been projected high. Yeah, I want 3. I mean, when you have such a sure thing, again, nobody's a sure thing, right? But like, Genty looks like a sure thing. He's one of the best prospects at running back I've seen in 11 years of watching tape. So for me, like, I would hate to, like, it's obviously if you get this guy's first, it's probably gonna be later. Possibly we'll see his team could fall apart in 26. It's possibly. So one of those would have to be projected high. So he's got Shot the Game, Love Hurts, Roll Tide, Wilson's Anarchy, Barca. I mean, he's got everybody's first. So you'd have to ask for somebody who's
like Roll Tide.
Roll Tide is the lowest one.
Looks like it. But you also kind of want to be shooting for those old teams.
Reservations for 6 is the one that's in Dynasty mode, the lowest. So could you offer him 1-1 for reservations for 6 and Roll Tide and his first? Could you? Yeah. Is he going to do it? Maybe because it's Ashton Genty, but maybe not. But then you still don't have your first back. You still don't have your first back there.
Hear me out. If we had 3 firsts in 2027, they're not ours, but in theory, it should be easier for us, knowing we don't have our 27 firsts, to make sure that we are not one of the bottom 3 teams in the league. And then we are improving the odds of those other 3 that we've collected and hopefully moving 1 or 2 of them down. So it's like, if I know 2 years out that I don't get my 27, I can make adjustments, but usually you aren't planning for a year in advance if you don't have your own first. So this would be a unique situation if you did end up making that move without your own 27 first.
Yeah, I don't understand what you mean by that. When you say it projects us for not being as bad, we would lose out on a 1-1. We wouldn't have Ashton Genty. Our team would be significantly worse.
So what I'm thinking is, with 8 teams currently not having a 27 first, we might get to that 2027 year and it's just mayhem for people either trying to compete or trying to get their first back, because they realize, they're going to end up with the 104, 105, but they're not going to have any of their picks. So I'm just wondering if we should get out ahead of that, get 3 of them, gives us some better odds at maybe making that valuable pick, getting the 101, 102, and not making ourselves have to try and be the worst team in the league to get the 101.
Well, his
If
team
we all-
I don't think he has to try. His team would be without it'd be in bad shape. So, yeah, I mean, listen, this is a weird team because of the situation that he put himself in by giving his first to this guy and the guy that we want to get it back from. So, it's hard to say and go through here, Harvey, and tell you exactly who to trade with what. To the point of because the draft capital is so close and it's real so these picks are valued right now. I'd say the best thing for you, my number one advice is you have 2 very, very valuable assets. Your most valuable assets here outside of Brian Thomas are the 1-1 and the 1-3. So that is where you're looking. We laid the kind of the groundwork there on what moves you should offer out the gate. I would be interested in those 2 low 27 first and that guy's 27 first, 3 for 1 deal there. If that's like the third option that we mentioned, go there. You could try that. I have a feeling that owner might shoot you down for the way he accumulated all those picks, but he also has so many left over. He might do it for Ashton Genty. Outside of that, again, this is going to be a whirlwind, and we'll be here on X. I encourage you, hit me up at Dynasty Rich. It's down there. To when you get on 1-3, you're trying to move back again. You need more capital. And how far are you willing to move down? Who you're going to get for that 1-3? It's going to depend on all the other owners in your league. It does suck because, like Taylor said, a lot of other owners don't even have their 27 first to even offer you, which is where you want to go. I don't really care about 26 too much with this team. Those picks will give you ammo throughout this year to trade for players that possibly get hurt. But let's try those maneuvers first. Those 3. Hit me up on X, and then we'll walk through after that. And definitely when you get closer to the 1-3 when you're on the clock. So let's start there. 1-3 for your first back, and then you can keep 2-2. It sucks, but kind of is what it is at this point because your picks will be higher. Or can you back from 1-1 to 1-4 and get your 27 first back? If he says no, then all right, man, I'll give you 2-8-2, almost like out of desperation. But that's very important that you try and get your 27 first back.
Yep, I agree. I hope that gets you where you need to be, Harvey. Next time, if you get a trade offer like that and you're on the fence, like Rich said, shoot him a tweet on X or reach out to us any way you can, because that one hurt. Sorry, man.
Well, listen, if you end up with 1-3 and you don't move and you get Trevian Henderson or you get Travis Hunter and they turn into elite dynasty prospects, it's not like you shot your foot off. You shot yourself in the foot a little bit, but it ended up just being like a scuff. It's still okay. If you end up with a very high end asset and you end up paying for, the good thing is that high end asset, like a Travis Hunter, if he hits, he's the top 6 receiver. If Henderson hits, he's the top 5 fantasy football running back. It will naturally push you up because you do have 2 starting quarterbacks. You do have Brian Thomas. You do have likely Pearsall. So it won't end up being a 1-1. So it's really not end of the world having that 1-3. So it's not as bad as we're trying to make it. It's just the odds of you being a high draft pick are pretty high. So you just kind of want to lean into that a little bit and just move back a little. So who's next on the list here, Peter?
Yeah, really fast. So if Hunter gets drafted by the Browns,
he is.
So you're pretty all in. Do you think he'll be seeing significant amount of snaps at cornerback, and does that give you any pause at all for fantasy?
No, the Browns, Andrew Berry. So obviously I'm a diehard Browns fan and I'm very tapped into every word that comes out of anybody's mouth. And I'm sitting there scouring for any news. So Andrew Berry had his press conference. I said this a month ago when they were talking his initial draft prep after the season. They viewed Travis Hunter as a receiver. In this past interview that he had, I think last Thursday, a week before the draft, he said we still value him at a receiver. Obviously, he's a unicorn. Andrew Berry compared him to Shohei Ohtani that can play both ways. So if I had to predict it, I think he would play 100% this is just me speaking out of pocket. But if I was Andrew Berry, I would tell him, hey, we're going to play you 100% at receiver. That's where we value the most. And we're going to let you play third downs or in obvious passing downs on defense. Because Travis Hunter's not the greatest tackler anyways. So he's playing third downs for me. Or if it's second and long, he's playing obvious passing downs. He came out and said he's playing both ways in the NFL. Another team has to, that's kind of a condition of him getting drafted. He wants Roger Goodell to announce him as a receiver and cornerback. So that's how we come out. But the Browns do envision him as a receiver. So that is fantastic for his dynasty value. I think anybody would be making a big mistake taking him behind Travis Hunter or Ted McMillan, because his tape is that elite. He has attributes to be a true wide receiver 1 overall kind of player. So he's in the tier of Malik Neighbors, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, even Brian Thomas. So to have that in that cornerstone for that player, again, having Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter, if he ends up not being able to move on to 1-3, and Ashton Genty, you are in a spot, at least now, for trade-wise, you have arguably running back 1 overall. There's an argument that he could make that. And then an argument for wide receiver 1 overall. Brian Thomas, who finished as a rookie, is wide receiver 4. That tells me there's a path to be wide receiver 1 overall if you do that rookie year. Travis Hunter, there could be a path for him to be a top 3, top 1. And all you have to do is just, again, prospectively, just enter those tiers. That's all you have to do. So once Ashton Genty's in the mix, would you rather have Jahmyr Gibbs or Ashton Genty? That's where that value is. As Travis Hunter's up there and he's man, would you rather have Travis Hunter or Marvin Harrison or Malik Neighbors? That's where his value is. And that's where you're going to rebuild by moving one of those players. And having 2 of those guys, Brian Thomas or Travis Hunter, then it now allows you to move off one of those guys, right? If you need to. If you can't get more draft capital, you still have one of those guys in your back pocket to build on top of. So, yeah, I think if him playing defense, it doesn't worry me at all. If he can do it, he's a true unicorn, then so be it. We didn't have a Shohei Ohtani until Shohei Ohtani's here. Once he does it for a while, now you end up getting hurt. It's no longer this. You're not mesmerized. Yep, that's Shohei Ohtani. So when Travis Hunter is the first player to get a receiving touchdown and a pick 6 in a game in NFL history, it's going to be mind-blowing. But he will be able to do that. He will get some picks. He will still play some defense. But it won't hurt his fantasy value, in my eyes, as long as he produces.
Okay.
Just what does he do on offense? And I feel he's going to be used 100% on offense.
And then Martin asked this really good question because, honestly, I'm just super excited about the NFL draft coming up. So one more question. What expert do you believe is most accurate with NFL draft mocks? Who do you guys read?
That's a tough question because when you say the most accurate, a lot of times mocks are either people's own assessment and they want to say these are how I would draft them. And so then you have to wait 4 or 5 years later to see, who was accurate in a lot of those assessments. And then some mocks, it's how well they can guess what's going to happen, a lot of times with betting lines and stuff attached to them. So at first, Rich, I guess, which one are we going to look at? Because it's a pretty big difference.
I think predictive is the thing that probably, I'm assuming Martin
and it's
wants.
Real mock drafters, that's what they do. They try to predict. They don't try to go off this is what I would do. They'll say that ahead of time. I think you can Google it. I think last year, I think Josh Norris was up there pretty high for accuracy. I know Dane Brugler came in 4th or 5th. So I know Benjamin Albright, guy out of Denver, puts out one a year. He'll do it either the night before or the day of the draft. He puts out, he's usually tapped in pretty good from a new standpoint, but Josh Norris, Dane Brugler, a lot of those guys, it's just so hard to get them right. And you're trying to perceive, I don't think it's more about where they end up. You're trying to get, I think what I like those guys that are real accurate. You're trying to get a perception of who holds first round pedigree, right? Who's in that. It's kind of like when we do our pre-draft rookie rankings, why is that important? Because we're basing that all off of tape, right? So now that when a player slips in an NFL draft, that player still holds some value because his tape was really high, right? For example. So when you look at all these mock drafts, I don't really look at these mock drafts to see ooh, this player is for sure going this team. I'm looking at where they perceived in the community, what range they should go in. Okay, everybody has him right around pick 12, Tyler Warren. Okay, so he's in that 12 range. And if he falls back, why did he fall back? Oh, he went higher than everybody predicted. Everybody was predicting him there. So it's more of a range kind of aspect. But to try and pick the teams, it's like with trades involved and what's going on there, it's a little hard. But I think you can Google it. I think it was Josh Norris was like, so I think number one. Hayden Winks is a guy who does a really good job mock drafts. Dane Brugger obviously is a really good one. I think Kuiper's like a 55%er, somewhere around there. So there's so many. Field Yates is another guy who's really good at mock drafts. Field Yates is a guy who gets a good accuracy one. So those guys right there, just read a lot of them. Just know that a lot of those are fun. They're for fun.
Yeah. And shout out to Bobby Bishop, who released our own full. It was it first round, or was it first? How many rounds?
102 players, all 3 rounds of the NFL 32 team draft. So hopefully people who are on here have a chance to finish it, because it looks like a lot of people have already been reading it. So I wouldn't be surprised if most people in here already saw that. But anyone watching after the fact, definitely check out Bobby's mock. It's crushing it.
Okay, so now we have a roster rescue from Gabriel, and I like the name of this league. It's called Nerd Herd.
Nice.
It's a 1 quarterback league, and he wrote just picked up this orphan and it needs a lot of help. Not sure what direction to go. Kind of have to try to compete because it doesn't look like I can get my first back this year. So another team that doesn't have their future first. Let's see. So
this is my league. This guy just joined.
I see Dynasty Rich here.
Where you at? Ooh.
What's my team look like in this league? What league is this?
Rich is going to be trading.
That's fine. I'm not Dynasty. I won back-to-back championships. So
there you go.
And I've came in second. I think in the last 3 years, I've won 2 championships, came in second in this league. So we just had so Gabriel. Yeah. So Gabriel just joined this league. We had somebody, Will bailed like literally on Saturday. He's like, hey man, something came up. Like, I'd like to leave the league if I can. He's got a kid coming. That's what it is. Not something came up, something came out. He's got a kid coming. So he leaves, and obviously, I jump in the Nerd Herd. It's a privilege. We talk about, my FFPC, which is fantastic that those leagues don't fold. Nerd Herd's leagues never fold. I'm never worried about people leaving, because like the moment I put it out in the Discord, it gets filled up pretty quickly. So Powerfold, guy in my first said JMO plus at least another first. With my first said JMO plus at least another first. So let's see his team. What first does he have? Let's see if Jameson Williams would even be worth his first back.
Well, our problem is we only have our 27 first. We don't have any extra ones to spend. So
yeah, so he took Will didn't leave him any favor. He didn't do him any favors this year. What picks does he have? I know he has a lot of seconds, right?
A couple, yeah.
202, 204, 208, 211, 301, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, 5, 27 seconds. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 26 seconds.
Yeah, so that's gonna be Gabriel. That's gonna be a good starting point to try and move seconds again to first. But can we look at his starting roster again? I want to see what he got left here. So this is a Nerd Herd league. The Nerd Herd league. This was the very first Nerd Herd league we ever launched. So this is like 8-9 years old. It's pretty old.
Wow.
So this is Nerd Herd 1.0 essentially for us. And this is not super flex. This is no tight end premium. So it's just 1 QB PPR. That's how old this league is. We started this league before we even played super flex. So he's got Joe Burrow. He's got Tua. He's finding a quarterback. He's got Tyrone Tracy, Javonte Williams. He's got no running backs at all, essentially here. Chad, hey, I'm in this league. All right, nice.
Hey, I think, Chad, you're our first comment ever from Facebook.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
So the fact that somebody wants Jameson Williams plus, what did he say he wanted for Jameson Williams?
At least
JMO plus at least another first.
Yeah, and he doesn't have his first, so it doesn't even. What's the point? Like, there's no deal. He's not giving his 27.
Maybe first. I think that's what he's insinuating.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't be afraid to offer. I'm like, dude, 2-2 is kind of a first. Here's 2-2. But again, this is not super flex. So the 2-2 is a little less valuable than like the super flex leagues right here. And he's going to get a lot of, I think the big thing here is he's going to have to try and move off of like 2-2 for maybe a future first. But at the same time, there might be like having 2-2-2-4 there does help him put him in range. Like there might be some later running backs he might be able to gamble on, right? Like the Cam Scadaboos of the world. Listen, I'm a real big fan of Ja'Cory. Oh my God, I can't pronounce this. What's the 3 name? Miss Smith Marset. Hold on.
I like Dylan Sampson. Would be a good option there.
I don't think Dylan Sampson's going to be available in the second round in a 1 QB league. Personally, I think he's going to get really good draft capital, and I think he's going to go to a really sweet spot.
Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, is that who you were thinking?
Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt and Lane Larison are 2 late round running backs I like to gamble on here because this team needs running backs. So he has 3-1, and he's got 3-1, and he's got 2-11. So those are running backs like later you could kind of look at.
And he has 307, 308.
We could do we could do a mid to late round mock with this. We have like 8 picks in the 2nd through 3rd round.
Okay.
Just got a message. Nerd Score should be released tonight on a live stream. Still
on a live stream? Oh, yeah. Heck yeah.
They always live stream it. Garrett and Jarrett always live stream it. So that should be tonight. Nerd Score released tonight. It's always a fun watch. We're gonna do a mock on this, see what we can end up with.
Yeah. Right. Question while I'm setting this up. How many seconds would you need to give up for a 27 first? Like, in theory, could he just send all 4 of those for a 27 first, and would that be a good idea?
I mean, this class is so deep at running back, and I would almost just rather he needs some depth on his team. Like he gave all this, like for what, some one random shot later. I'd rather gamble on some of these. Let's see who's available here in mock.
Yeah.
Now remember, this mock is going to change drastically after the NFL draft. Like these player values going to change drastically. But receivers, listen, a lot of receivers are going to go in the 2nd round and the 3rd round of this NFL draft. A lot. So those receivers are going to get pushed up because of draft capital, which will push some running backs down. There's going to be some value for you to gamble on, or at least trade back here, Gabe. So,
okay, I'm going to have to. Yeah, we haven't been transferring over the picks right now automatically. So we have. Oh, that's Dynasty Nerds invitation.
You can't. It doesn't automatically transfer over when you go to the mock draft.
No, not right now. It must mean that we're
in the middle of one of those updates.
Middle of something.
Yeah, I know we're transferring a rookie mock draft tool into the rookie app too, and it's all going on today. There might be a little hang up. So 2-2, 2-4, 2-8, and 2-11. 2-4, 8-11.
8.
Yeah, that's my 11. PIN number to my debit card. 2-4, 8.
Do we want 307, 308, or 310, or is that too deep?
Yeah, I think we should do the 2nd and 3rd, Rich. What do you think? No?
Yes, that's fine. 3. Yeah, that's fine. 3, 1, 7, 8, and 10. Yeah, it's a lot of picks. He's going to get some. You're going to have to like chase upside here, and we're taking best player available.
You mentioned there, Pete, that, what if you packaged all these 4s or all these seconds for a 27 first? Well, I mean, you can't package 4 thirds for a first. That's obvious. But with 8 picks in these 2 rounds, the hope is that you can find someone worth a 27 first out of 8 picks, and then you've got 7 other players that maybe amount to something for you. So I don't know if I'd be packaging them all together for one single pick, just because, like Rich had mentioned, at least the 2 and the 4, as we'll hopefully see here, are.
Hey, Samson's here at 202.
Yeah, I don't think Golden would be in a norm like after the draft. If he goes on the first, he probably won't be.
Golden. I mean, Matthew Golden's going to go on the first. You're right, but yeah. So first, yeah, I'm snatching Dylan Sampson.
Yep, I'm happy with that too.
If Golden goes in the first and Sampson goes in the 3rd, are you still doing that?
Depends what team Sampson goes to. Sampson goes to the 3rd to Pittsburgh. If he goes to the 3rd to Cleveland, if he goes to the 3rd to the Chiefs, yeah, I'm taking Sampson over Golden. It's gonna depend where he goes.
Okay. Samson though at 202.
Yeah, with what we know now,
I have picked 1-7 and 1-8 in this league. He's like, how many seconds to move back?
You picked. You picked Warren and Luther Burden, aka Jalen Reagor.
I bet you wouldn't have taken Luther Burden there.
I bet I wouldn't have either. Well, it depends where Burden, I guess.
Yeah.
I probably would have taken Dylan Sampson if he went the
Do
third grade. Would he be
you-
available for you?
Would you have Burden over Ricky Pearsall pre 2024 NFL draft as prospects?
It'd be pretty close. Again, man,
'Cause
Burden just comes down to like, I want to see his draft capital, and I want to see him what kind of system and coaching. He needs good coaching, so I want to see where he ends up. I just don't like
Because
that.
that's
He's
what
elect-
I was trying to think
I'd probably
of
take
like,
people.
yeah, because how, like, we always kind of talk about these wide receivers kind of going late, and I was like, man, if Purcell went in the first, then are we going to see these like Higgins and Noel and all those guys?
Wait, he has 2-2, 2-3, and 2-4.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm confirming. Yeah, 2-4.
Okay.
So,
he's got-
who are we taking here?
So this is, I mean, I would lean. This might go running back. This might go running back. If the draft plays out to the right here, but on just tape alone, I would want Jalen Noel personally. But I think beforehand, like say this is how it all plays out. Like I think Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel, and Jalen Royals are probably going to go in the second round of the NFL draft, if I had to guess today. And I would lean to one of those guys where they go best. Jalen Noel right now is my wide receiver 4 on tape from tape scores. So I would take Jalen Noel over those guys, but I think that would be where I would lean towards.
Is this league tight end premium?
No.
Do you think at 202 Loveland would fall in a non-premium league in this league?
Loveland's going to be a first round pick. He's going to be a high first round pick, and people are going to value that.
Okay.
If he does,
you might take him at 107 or 108. That might be you taking Loveland.
Yeah, 100%, man. Because my team, I have 107, 108. Like I said, I won 2 championships here. My team's pretty.
Yeah, you got Farmers at tight end.
Yeah,
so I bet you will take Warren or Loveland at that pick.
Yeah, I got Zach Ertz too, so I definitely would take a tight end at one set. If Warren or Loveland's available, I'm very likely to take one of those guys. Because I still have my draft cap. Look at me with all these picks. I don't know how I ended up with these picks. This is unusual for me to have all these picks. And it's like, but with this team, and having Najee, yeah, I would. And I have 3 running backs. I'm probably going to go receiver. I'm hoping like a Mecca slips to me here, but I'm going receiver and tight end most likely, just to give you a heads up for everybody. But we'll see who the best player available is. Best players available that a running back I love, then I'm gonna take him there too. So with him at 2-4, like I don't know Taylor who you like more or not, but like Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel, and Jalen Royals, like I would take them in that order, but they're all pretty damn close tape score wise.
Yeah, I'm fine with, whatever the next best draft capital wide receiver becomes being. I think we're all, not all, but a lot of us are under the assumption that Noel's going to amount to something at the next level. I think we've taken it at this point. So,
yeah, I think if you look at mock draft wise, Jaden Higgins is the one that's projected to go higher mock draft. So let's just assume Jaden Higgins goes 2-3 or something, 2-4, like 2-4 to the 2-5 to the Jags in the second round, something on those lines. Or high to the Jets. Say he goes like 2-7 to the Jets. So let's take Jaden Higgins, even though I like Jalen no more. Let's just kind of project here and assume that he went higher.
So by the way, chat, we just got like 3 roster reviews back to back to back. So we are only for this episode, other than those 3, we're only accepting nukes.
Yeah,
now.
No more roster reviews going.
The next roster review will be, if you submit a roster review, it'll just get pushed back to Wednesday's episode. Okay, 208.
Well, we got Noel.
I'm taking
lock
Noel.
it in.
Perfect.
Yep.
There's
This is
a lot
good.
of value here.
I'm taking Mason Taylor.
Yes. Thank you. I know I've heard you talk about Fannin, not to put you on the spot, Rich. You talked about Fannin on the podcast not too long ago, but Mason Taylor, I think, is going to get the draft capital. I'm all over
100%.
this guy.
I had Fannin and Mason Taylor tied, and I think with all the news coming out recently, like Mason Taylor could sneak into the back end of the first, or he's going to go high second.
KC.
I think he's going to be the pick. So Mason Taylor there is probably good value. But again, if Mason Taylor gets drafted there, he's probably not available there with that pick.
That's
you know what I mean? So this is what's hard. Like these players are all so close. This is going to change drastically. But the point is showing you like you're going to get really good value here, or at least upside value. So even back here, like I'm real comfortable like with Bashal Tootin, speedster, one cut north-south guy. I think he'll get a good enough draft capital to kind of get you excited. I think this is a range now where like Land Larison, Ja'Cory Smith, Scott.
We like Jack Beck a lot too, right?
Jack Besh, I like a lot here too. Yeah,
Besh.
Jack Besh would be a solid pick. But listen, he needs running backs. Like we can't just like. I think here's the thing: we keep taking receivers. I think there's with the draft capital wise and land spots, there's gonna be some running backs that we do like. So
I have no problem taking Tootin or Krosky Merritt, I guess, if those were the two ways that you were leaning.
Yeah, I think Krosky Merritt has a higher upside. I really liked his tape too. I liked him and Land Larison's tape a lot. So I would take Krosky Merritt here. It was me.
We have back-to-backs, so we can take both, I guess. I didn't see. Damian Martinez is a name where, depending on landing spot, and he might be a third-round guy. You might just be able to get him. But
what's his name? The person
Martinez.
We're picking at 308?
Ja'Cory.
Or 307?
Ja'Cory.
McCroskey or
Krosky Merritt. Yeah. He's going to be really young. He's going to be really
How do you spell that?
We have not had these updated, I believe, since the rookie guide has been assembled, and that will definitely shake up the.
That's far down you go.
I don't think he's in our database.
He might not be on this side of it. I know he's in our back end for player profiles and everything.
Yeah, because I just did my rookie profile of him for the app, and you know what? I'll have to go through that, make sure he's added to the app here. But I mean, you could go back up.
Yep.
Again, I mean, it's kind of irrelevant where it is now today. Anyway, Damian Martinez or Tootin. Yeah, I would take Tootin. If we have back-to-back, I'm taking Martinez. Restrepo wouldn't be a bad pick with the right capital there. RJ Harvey's a nice upside player there. Again, so RJ Harvey here or Jaden Blue, like one of those guys. It's kind of irrelevant. It's more like position. Take RJ Harvey.
Yeah, I like that we have so many options here at this point at the running back position. So it makes me feel better about taking the best player available at 202 and 204 and not forcing it to be, a running back on both of those picks if the right wide receiver is there. So,
take Harvey here, Pete, and then let me see our picks. We have click your picks.
Yeah, Harvey.
He's right. Yeah. You can go Jack Besh. So look at what we did already without having any first round pick. Again, are you getting probably elite talent here? No, but you're getting a lot of depth is what you need. So at least for your roster is not in, rags and bones. What you need is depth. And you have a lot of second round picks this year, a lot of second round picks next year, a lot of second round picks in 2027. So, all you need is a couple of these players to show some promise, and you'll be able to move them and a second for a first. You'll be able to move up. Now, what's good about this league too, Gabe, is this is an active league. People do like to make trades. The trophy team right there, Paul, he is the habitual trader of all. He makes the most trades of anybody. He's very active, so you'll be able to find moves to make hit for him. I'm starting to see me in dynasty mode so low, but I'm not worried about it because I've won 2 out of 3 championships the last year. In contender mode, I'm still low. That's fine too. That's good. I guess I won.
So, Rich, let's help this guy out a little bit. I know it's going to be maybe you want to look at your team. I mean, he's got a lot of those seconds. If you like what was in the draft, maybe you want to craft something for him. But I think we got to give him at least one trade option because his team's tough. This is a smart league. It sounds like. Right. So we got to make sure he's got some options.
He wants 1-8, right? How many seconds is it going to take? 1-8, go back to his team. Well, what do I have on my team? Do you have any?
Let me pull up your team again. Okay. There we go. Oh, man. Barkley, Hubbard, and
this is Dynasty mode you're in, so that's why he's so low. He's a little bit higher when you switch to contender mode.
Yeah. So I have 1-7, 1-8. I have my first next year. And so if he wants 1-7 or he wants 1-8, he wants to jump higher. Depends how many. To go to one spot doesn't mean a lot to me. Let's go back to his team. I'll throw him a trade offer on here, and if he likes it, he can send it over. So
I'll also accept a 101 offer live on the air in the Nerds Invitational League.
Okay, we
Rich.
can talk. Let's scroll down in the meantime. You have my future first in that league. So good. I mean, I think Jawan Jennings is going to do a lot better than people realize. I don't think this is a team that he has to worry about like having a 1-1 by not having his first either. So like having Jordan Addison, Jameson, like he's got a whole bunch of like okay wide receiver twos, which is good enough not to win, but not enough. And this running back class is so deep. He'll get running back value, at least people that will give him points to fill up his biggest hole, which is the running back. And he's hoping to get Jonathan Brooks back in 2026 as well, which would help his team as well. So now I have Chuba Hubbard, so maybe Jonathan Brooks we could talk about as well. And let's see what seconds he has.
So I'm wondering, what is your interest level in Jonathan Brooks?
Not high. I got a lot of shares. Definitely when you're talking about 1.8, it gets a lot lower. But I might be like, how many seconds? So for 1.8, I mean, I'd probably want, if I'm being realistic, because I think there's between 1.8 and 1.22 is pretty low. I don't think 2.2 and 2.4 is enough to get me there, but maybe 2.2 and 2.4 and Jonathan Brooks might interest me.
That's if I was crafting this without you with me, I would say offer Rich 202, 204 and Jonathan Brooks and see if he even wants that. Because to me, that's the least I would take for the 108, because I think that 108 is a solid running back starter no matter what. So I want Jonathan Brooks back, and I want two swings at those lower tier guys. I wasn't sure when you said there wasn't as much of a difference. I think there's at least one drop off between the 107, who's expected to be there in a one quarterback league, and the 202. So if you're giving up maybe 2 tiers worth of players, I feel like I'd want 3 assets back, and one of them needs to be something that has high upside potential. So
yeah, I'd probably want Jonathan. If I give up 1.7, I'd want Jonathan Brooks 2.2, 2.4, and it's 27 second. For 1.7, if I did 1.8, I'm probably leaning towards 2.2, 2.4 Jonathan Brooks. Right around there. And if I'm being dead honest, like I'm not even sure. I'd want to see who's there at 1.8.
So I would be doing our subscriber, our roster manager a disservice if I didn't just say condensing 3 of your assets to get the 108 with the roster that you have right now might not be the best long-term dynasty move as far as actually rebuilding this thing. I think what you'd want to do is try to split like that 202 when you're on the clock into maybe like the 205 and something, or maybe even trying to add to it to get a future first. I'm not sure that packaging those with Jonathan Brooks when Brooks's value is probably at his lowest that it's been for, since he's been drafted. So it's your call. I think if you pick the right guy at 107 or 108, obviously down the line, it's better to make sure you get a good quality asset on your team than a bunch of what ifs. But you got to have some conviction in wanting to make that pick if you're going to give up 3 other assets to acquire it.
Yeah, my best advice for this roster and what you have, Gabe, the way he lets you is I'm using all those draft picks. Like I'm not trying, like Taylor said, you need as many shots in the dark as you can, and you have a lot of bullets. So you're going to hit something. Even if it's one player, you're going to hit one. But I think what you're going to do is this team's going to be I think this draft class is going to give you a good foundation and some good depth. And then in season, you're hoping Jameson Williams hits high. Jordan Addison hits high. Jawan Jennings starts off really good, which I predict him to do because I don't think IU could be ready. You could trade him. And then you looked for an in-season player trade. But in the meantime, I'm kind of like I liked all that value that's going to be there at 2.2, 2.3, 2.4. Like I think you'll be able to move in draft for maybe a future first on one of those. If not, I think you're going to get some really good foundation, especially where you need it most at receiver. I think you're going to get one receiver or running back. You're going to get one receiver you like and 2 solid running backs with upside there. So, all right, let's go up the next one.
Okay, so the next one.
We'll talk, Gabe. We'll talk. Hit me up in the messages.
Yeah, definitely be active. If there's a lot of people trading in that league, make sure that you're keeping people on the block and maybe even updating it periodically. If you haven't had any bites in a week, maybe go in and say, Tyrone Tracy's still on the block, hit me up before the draft and you might get a discount or whatever you can do to kind of stir up some activity for yourself.
Okay, so the next one is from Anthony, and so Anthony's going to have us do something kind of fun. So he actually bought 2 roster rescues, but we're going to do one of this league pre NFL draft, and then next Monday we'll do another one post NFL draft.
Oh, nice.
So
Cool.
So get that you will recognize this roster next Monday.
Let's do it.
So would you like me to read off his team, Rich, or would you like to?
Doesn't matter to me. 10-man league. That's got to be accounted for.
1 quarterback, and then starts 7. Caleb Williams, Baker Mayfield, JJ McCarthy, James Conner, Trey Benson, Jalen Wright, and Nick Chubb at running back. Wide receiver is Roma Dunze, Jalen Waddle, Michael Pittman, Cedric Tillman, Christian Kirk, Keenan Allen, Jalen Coker. And then tight end, Noah Gray, Dalton Schultz, and Theo Johnson. Lots of picks. He has so these haven't updated yet, but he wrote in the email he has 101, 103, 104, 106, 107, 108, and 201 and 401 in 2025.
Yeah, so obviously post-draft, we'll look at this, but this is going to come down to you're taking best player available. This is a very good foundation. You're lucky because your biggest hole is at running back, but you're going to be able to fill that hole. You're adding Ashton Genty. You're getting either Trevian Henderson, Amari, and Hampton. Does he have 104 too? 103 and 104?
1, 3, 4,
yeah.
6, 7, 8.
I'll put this up on the screen.
Yeah. So listen, you're getting Ashton. So you're gonna have Caleb Williams, Baker Mayfield, JJ McCarthy. One of those guys you're gonna be able to trade in season, which is gonna be great. Either JJ, you hope JJ McCarthy pans out, which I think he will. You can move him to somebody who wants a young quarterback for future capital. 1-1, you're taking Ashton Genty. At 1-3, 1-4, you're most likely going to get Travis Hunter and either Hampton or Henderson, which is fantastic. At 1-6, you're probably going to get Colston Loveland or Tyler Warren, which is great. And then at 1-8, you're taking 1-8 and 2-1, you're probably getting another running back and receiver, like maybe like a Mecca Buka at 1-8 and 2-1, like a Cam Scadaboo, right around there, or Dylan Sampson. So your draft capital and having a foundation of Jalen Waddle, Michael Pittman, and Roman Dunze with the upside of Wicks and Tillman, Kirk could be okay, possibly. I doubt it. This draft is going to put you in a really good position to turn this around almost immediately.
So a lot of times I would not suggest to people to make every pick because statistically you're going to miss on several of them. And if you can trade them in a deal for a future pick and, like a startable asset, maybe like a Deebo Samuel or something, the right kind of trade can make sense. But with what you're saying, Rich, I agree with you that we have the potential to fill this roster in with these picks. And if we hit on half of them, we're setting ourselves up well for the future. Now, obviously, we always want to be a little more confident than what the stats show. We think ourselves can outbeat the margins a little bit. But 6, 7, and 8, I think I'm double tapping tight end. I'm going to take Warren and Loveland for this team. We've got Noah Gray, Dalton Schultz, Theo Johnson. So those are all cuttable guys. 10 team, start 7. We're never going to flex a tight end with those guys. And 10 teamer, I mean, you mentioned maybe flipping a quarterback. In a 10-team, 1-quarterback league, do you think that JJ or Baker or Caleb is even Baker's technically a QB1, I think, but the others are not.
You would just hope that Baker is a QB1. That's just if somebody needs a quarterback. Can you put us in contender mode?
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty much you just waiting for injury.
Yeah, you just need injuries.
Well, we're going to be last because we don't have our picks, but I mean, we have, yeah.
Real quick.
Sorry, what did you say, Rich?
7.
Okay.
Lamar.
Seems probably going to try and compete. I was just trying to see if we had a partner. Like I was just trying to look. I'm trying to see the avenue if there's anywhere I'd move, either 4, 6, 7, or 8 here, and like add a for sure thing at running back compared to like just the rookies. But like I believe in these rookies so much. Like I'd rather like the way that his team is structured and how it's young anyways. Like I'd rather just take the young guys here.
This is such a smart construction in a 12-team league. And I don't mean it's not in a 10-team, but in a 12-team, I would love this because we've got Jalen Wright, Nick Chubb, Trey Benson, all guys that have potential down the line, but we didn't invest heavily at the running back spot. We've got Waddle, Odunze, Pittman, who are all young guys still with potential, and they're just at a low point in their production cycle. So everything is pointing upward as far as our potential, but my concern is it's 10 teams. We need to go out and get, if we want to compete, we need like a Tyreek Hill. We need like a Christian McCaffrey. We need someone.
No, you're not wasting any of this capital for any of those old guys here. This is because he needs those guys. Like you said, he needs those. He has Connor, which I feel pretty good about. He has Benson behind him, so that's fine. Behind him, which is right. I like Jalen Wright. Definitely if HN goes down, I think he's fine. He wants Waddle to rebound. We hope Tyreek Hill leaves. He wants Waddle to rebound. And then you hope Odunze steps up. And then Michael Pittman's just like a solid, like mid-range, low-end wide receiver too. But you said where he needs somebody to hit. Like, I think he's in position to hit. Like, he's going to get Ashton Genty, which is going to be an elite running back prospect. At 1-3, I have to assume more likely than not, he's going to get Travis Hunter there. So that fills out that top-tier receiver in my eyes. And at 4, he's getting that other running back between Hampton and Henderson. I bet the over on running backs in the first. So I think he's going to get whatever running back that 1-2 doesn't take, whether it be Hampton or Henderson. And I'm okay with either of that. So now he's looking at any quarterback of the week that looks the best. He's in a good spot there. He'll have James Conner, Ashton Genty, and then Amarian Hampton or Trevian Henderson to go with James Conner. And then at receiver, he's got Jalen Waddle, Rome Odunze, Michael Pittman, and Travis Hunter. Then, like you said, 1-6, 1 at 1-6, 1-7, 1-8. I'm totally okay in the right situation, double dipping on tight end there and taking both those tight ends if he wants to. But I think he's gonna be in another position to if it's me and Emeka Ibuka's there and Emeka goes in the first, that's who I'd want, Emeka Ibuka. Because then that gives me Travis Hunter, Emeka, Waddle, Odunze, and Pittman. That's 5 good young upside receivers. Then you'd have Ashton Genty, James Conner, Henderson, or Hampton. And then at 2-1, you're going to add another good running back there, like Scadaboo or Samson, possibly. So it gives you 4 running backs with 2 upside guys in Wright and Benson. So it gives you 6 running backs. It gives you 5 receivers and 2 real high upside tight ends in Colston and Loveland. That's it. He's got the dynasty core that now just needs to develop and grow into an elite team, which all the writing on the wall says he has that possibility there.
With this being a 7-starter league, there's almost no room for error when it comes to who you're going to put in each week. So with 7 starters, we're only doing 2 quarterbacks, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and 1 flex spot is our option. So if we were to take Genty and we take Henderson or Hampton or both, and we get Travis Hunter if we don't, then those 3 starters in theory are all going to be in our lineup each week unless something isn't going according to plan. So if we have 3 out of our 7 starters already coming in this first draft, would we want to move the 108 or the 201 and something to try and get even like a Cooper Kupp for the 201? Just because this is such a shallow league, we're looking for someone who can get us 20 points on a weekly basis if possible.
Yeah, but what I want to do, what's going to be the most attractive, like you keep going back to these old guys that are like more likely to bust than not or be a one-year wonder. I'm gambling on taking those young guys, right? He has all those picks. You gamble on all those guys. You hope they all pan into something. Now you package the 2 young guys that are like true assets. Then you bump up to that elite tier. Like why gamble on the old guys to be one and done? You're right. It is a shallow league, but you have look at how many people don't have their first round picks in this league. This is a 10-man league, and he's got 60% of the first round draft picks. If people that don't have first round draft picks, there are people missing out on youth, right? And he had a first round pick. He had 2 first round picks last year because he got Roma Dunze and he got Caleb Williams. So I assume both those guys were first round picks. Maybe Caleb we got at like in the second round last year, but I'm assuming that was a first round pick too. So you're right. Like, why not? Like, he'll have the youth, like the move, definitely the running back situation where like he could probably package, if James Conner does what James Conner does, James Conner and one of those young players that he drafted for an elite player, or 2 of those guys he took at 1.7, 1.8, or 2.1, or 1.8 and 2.1, and get a proven guy. Why gamble on a guy like Cooper Kupp that we don't even know if it's going to work in Seattle? Like, why gamble on Tyreek Hill where we don't know how he's going to bounce back after the worst season he's ever, like almost ever had, where he didn't even break 1,000 yards? Like, that's not the move in my eyes. That's the opposite. Like, this is a team on the verge of taking a step forward, and all these draft capitals are going to, like, I think he did this right. He's got a solid foundation in the receivers he has. He's got no elite prospect, but a lot of upside prospects that could be elite, like Roma Dunze. Waddle was wide receiver 7 overall his rookie and sophomore year. So if Tyreek Hill leaves there, we know that's completely possible for him to repeat that. Why go out against some old asset and give up 2 young assets to offset that? He needs, listen, with all those picks he has, 2 of them, one of them for sure is probably going to bust. 2 are probably just be okay. So he's trying to like we said in the last roster, take as many shots as possible. If all of those hit, he'll have the ammo now to do exactly what you're saying, but do it in a better fashion where he's going to get a good proven asset that's younger. That's not 31 years old. That's not 30 years old. He'll have the ammunition because you're right. Starting 7, he'll now be in position. We'll have so much depth because he's not starting all those guys now to package those players and move up and solidify. And now all of a sudden that quarterback comes into play a little bit more. You're like, oh, I only have one good quarterback. So now he's sprinkling in the Baker or the JJ McCarthy on top for what looks like an overpay on paper, but it doesn't matter because he's really solidifying the roster like you said. Absolutely not am I trading any of that draft capital for any old player that's over 27 years old at all to compete now. Because again, it's no guarantee that they're going to help you anyways.
I'm totally fine getting out of the basement tier of, the dusty guys who we're hoping are going to shine again. That's all right with me. I'm just wondering if we would want to try and solidify some of those picks, like you said, that could flop. Just see if we could get 1 or 2 reliable guys that, like, for example, you want to click on the third team there, Pete? I'm not going to read it out, but like, look at their receivers here, the third team.
Yep.
They've got, I was in contender mode. They've got CeeDee Lamb, Drake London, Marvin Harrison. Would you want to package a pick, some sort of those picks, to try and get one of those 3 receivers off of that team?
I'm going to trade you one of those receivers for those picks.
If you give them 104 and 107, you don't think you could get Drake London?
Okay. You might be able to get Drake London for 104 or 107, but like, so that would take you out of, yeah, I would do that. If I can do that 104, 107 for Drake London, I would do that.
Because if we could get a guy that we believe in for these picks, I think it's worth it to take a few less shots. Like we could pick.
This is a completely different thing that you're saying Tyreek Hill and Cooper Kupp. If we're talking Drake London, like that's a completely different story. Drake London is 23 years old. When Michael Penix stepped in last year, he's a top 6 fantasy receiver. I think even higher than that overall. So yeah, if I can get 1.4, 1.7, then kind of eliminate that Travis Hunter pick with Drake London, if that's the way to go, then I'm totally fine with that. Or take Travis Hunter, and then I have Travis Hunter and Drake London and Jalen Waddle and Roma Dunze, because now I'm in a position to again trade one of those guys for a proven running back at some point. I'm okay with that for sure.
Who else would you maybe want to target? Because I think that's the question with this team is they're going to be on the clock with all these picks. So they're not going to have as many suitors for whichever rookie they take in these spots, but everyone might be interested in the 103 when they're on the clock. So is there a player besides Drake London that you might want to target for a team like this in this type of a shallow setting?
if I'm giving up Travis Hunter, like what? Like, I want the players I'd want. I'm most likely not going to get. Like I want Drake London. I want Brian Thomas. You know what I mean? Like those are the players I want.
Go to the fourth team, Pete, in Dynasty mode. I keep switching on you. They've got Puka, JSN, Lad McConkey, and they've got Evans as a true starter in a seven team. Would you want to try and make a package for one of those three receivers?
I mean, I would. I would get, but like, are you giving up 1-4 and 2-1 for Lad McConkey? I mean, that's probably the most. I mean, I would be interested, but at the same time, here's the problem. I really believe in Travis Hunter a lot. So I would just rather go ahead. If I'm not getting Drake London, if I'm not getting like Brian Thomas, as much as I like maybe like why I would rather just, for me personally, with this team and the foundation, again, I understand what you're saying. If this is me, my opinion is I'm just taking Travis Hunter at 1-3 and I'm keeping 2-1 to add depth to my running back position. I understand what you're saying, but the way this team is built, can you get a proven thing? If I can get Drake London, if I get Brian Thomas, yes. But like Jackson Smith and Jigba, Lad McConkey, like, am I really giving like 1-3 plus for those guys?
Probably. I think maybe 1-6 and 1-7, right? If you're
I could. I don't think it'd get done, but I would. Yeah.
So if I'm that manager, right? If I'm the guy with those three receivers, I'm sitting with Achane, Chase Brown, and Tony Pollard. And I could have the 6 and 7 in this year's running back class. I could basically trade in Lad McConkey and get myself a young receiver. Maybe they like maybe they like Ibuka. They could take at 6, and then they could take Judkins at 7 or something. Maybe that appeals to this manager. Would you rather have McConkey on your team than do that same thing in the draft with the 6 and 7?
Yeah, I'd rather have Lad. Listen, 1-6, 1-7 with all the capital have. I'd easily give up Lad. I'd give that up for Lad McConkey or Jackson Smith and Jigba. Easily, I'd give that up. Not a problem whatsoever. Do I think the other owner would take that? Possibly, because they have Evans and Pickens. They want 2 shots in the dark. I would do that. Yes. In that range again. That's the Jackson Smith, Lad McConkey. The guys are neck and neck in overall ranking. So I would offer that because then it gives me Genty, it gives me Travis Hunter, and it still gives me Henderson or Hampton. And then my receiving core is Jameson Williams or Jalen Waddle, Romo Dunze, Jackson Smith or Ladd, and Michael Pittman and Travis Hunter. So yeah, I would do that for sure.
And this team here, this team 4, they don't have any picks in the 2025 first round. So I think that would appeal to them, getting 2 picks back to back in this year's heavy running back class. So 2 trades I think you could maybe get done out there. Go get Drake London using the 104, or, maybe go and make an offer to this guy and say, hey, I would like these 3 receivers. What would it take to get them? And then maybe just say, I'll give you 107 and 108. And if they say 106 and 108, you saved yourself a spot. If they say 106 and 107, fine, hit accept. That's kind of how I'm looking at it.
Yeah. And again, I'm totally fine just even keeping the picks with this one. So I like that strategy too. Get one of those guys that's proven. But I would give it. If not, I'm totally comfortable with the plan that we had. The fact that he needs a tight end too, double dipping on Warren and Loveland, one of those guys is for sure going to hit. If both of them hit, then you're in a good spot. Because again, if you get both those guys to be top 6 tight ends, then everybody's searching for that as well. So it's another trade asset. So yeah, overall, really good spot, really nice team, really good foundation. You did a really good job to set yourself up to take a massive step forward in 2025. Because I think this team will take a massive step forward in 2025. Who's next?
Okay, we have Carissa, who apparently was at work during the draft with 60 seconds per pick, and she's going to have a stroke looking at this team. So
60 seconds per pick?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
At work?
I would not even join a league.
That's bold. It's bold. Well, it's not. Okay. So
it's not a bad team, to be honest. When I opened it up, I was like, oh, man, okay, we can work with this.
And she has one. Wait, those aren't her draft picks. Never mind. That's the other team. It's Anthony's. 1-4. Okay. 1-4, 2-4.
2-4, 3-4.
10-man league. So 2-4 is a little bit more valuable.
Yeah. One quarterback.
Yeah. Listen, you did. Your quarterback situation's fine in one QB league. You got Caleb Williams and Matt Stafford. It's good. Your running back position is actually pretty nice, and you're going to make it better with 104. So I don't think you should have a stroke at all, Carissa. Listen, Chuba Hubbard was a very fine running back. He's going to be they extended him. He's going to be the guy. Kenneth Walker, the Seattle's going to run that offense through Kenneth Walker. It's will he stay healthy or not, right? So, but you're going to be okay because you're at 1-4. You're getting a good young running back. You're probably going to get Hampton or Henderson there. Worst case, if not, you get Travis Hunter. Boom, you had the 4. You have potentially the sexiest wide receiver room in your whole league if Hunter hits, because your receivers are fantastic. Like that is, it's hard to get better than that.
If Genty goes, if Genty, Henderson, and Hampton all go top 20, will Hunter be, and Hunter goes to the Browns, will Hunter be the 104, do you think, in most rookie drafts?
As long as you weren't dropped down your head as a baby. My apologies to all you who dropped down your head as a baby and you can't think straight, but that's, if that's the case, I mean, you'd be silly. Listen, how are you going to pass up a receiver? If people are concerned about a cornerback, I'm telling you, get that out of your head. Just get that out of your head right now, the cornerback thing. That's going to try and learn it. If Hunter goes 1-2 overall at receiver, like you would be with his skill set, like I would take him. I have him in a tier above Amari and Hampton. And that's with me assuming Hampton's going in the first round. Like, there's no way I'm passing. Like, I don't even care if those are my 4 receivers, because here's the way you got to look at it and why you take best player available. And you need a running back. If you take Hunter and he hits, now you could trade Jackson Smith and Jigba, Drake London, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. And you're going to get a massive haul for those guys. You're going to get those receivers there. Amon-Ra St. Brown opens the door on the Bijan Robinsons, the Jahmyr Gibbs conversations, the Ashton Genty owner. Like, you're going to get the elite tier running back. That's why you take best player available. So if you're like, oh no, I need a receiver, and it just so happened like the other teams went Genty, Henderson, and Hampton. They all went in the first round. They got sucked in by the running back love, which I get. It's an easy thing to do. And they're like, wow, best player here by Dynasty standards is Travis Hunter. Then you take Travis Hunter, and you got 2-4. And then you can take a running back at 2-4, best player available. But it's not like you're not in dire needs of a running back. You have 2 starting running backs. Like you're okay there. Hopefully J.K. Dobbins signs somewhere and you're good there. Do you need another running back? 100%. But with those receivers, if you have those 4, you're going to be able to get a running back that's healthy when the season starts and fill out that position. It won't be that big of a deal. And then does she have her future first next year?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Honestly, with this team, I'm looking to, you want some more advice here? I am looking to package my 26 first and 2-4, and I'm trying to get back up higher into the draft to get a better running back personally.
So let's look at Team 8 quick. I think we got something here. So not only do they have a bunch of add-in guys if we needed a throw-in, but go down, they've got 108. And I think this team could easily fall off the rails. So if we wanted to ask for their 2027 first in a deal for the 104, we could drop from 4 to 8, pick up a first. Or I think depending on what do you think of any of these guys, Rich, they have too many to start. Would you make some sort of an offer with the 204 to try to get one of those 5 names? Because this is only a start 8 in a 1 quarterback. So anything here with this team, they've got the 108, they've got these running backs. Is this a good trade partner for us?
All right. Well, for the first part of it is I am not moving with her team. I'm not moving off 1-4. I think the top 4 players are in a tier all by themselves, essentially, with those 3 running backs and that 1 receiver. I think because for me, everybody else is in a second tier. And the second tier is still good. Tat McMillan, Emeka, Dylan Sampson, Cam Scadaboo, for me. But like I want to that team, I want to add one of the elite prospects that I view. So I'm not moving on 1-4 personally. I'm going to stay there because you're in the back end of that tier. But with this team having 1-8, so this team has 1-8.
Yeah,
right.
1-8.
Yes.
I would love to offer this team 2-4, my 26 first for just 1-8. Can I
10-team league.
Can I try and get Aaron Jones to possibly like thrown in there? I would like to see. If it doesn't work, it's fine. But I'm totally comfortable just trying to get to 1.8 here, because I think it's going to put me in position to just grab that better running back that I want, or better prospects. Say like at 1.8, you might be able to get, instead of, say Travis Hunter does go higher than 1.4, and he goes, because your owner needs a receiver, they take, say Travis Hunter goes 1.2 or 1.3. Then you get Hampton or Henderson, that 1.8, you can either, now it opens the doors. Can you get, if you don't get another good running back prospect there, you can get like a Mecca Ibuka and add a really high, or a Ted McMillan and add a high receiver prospect there.
Yeah, and this is also, I know it's not a premium, but our only tight end really. Oh no, we have Kyle Pitts, which I mean, not to get excited, but that's a backup with upside. So we wouldn't need to force a tight end at.
I'm not touching tight end at that pick. I'm not, like, if Colston Loveland ends up on the Chargers at 1.8, like, then I'm very interested there. We'll see where he ends up, or the Broncos. But I think here with this team, like, I want. That's the thing. I like to move up from 2-4 to put me to get a much higher upside prospect and come out of this draft with one receiver and one running back, or two running backs in order to. But I would love to add a fourth receiver, because she's got 3 studs but not a lot of depth. So I'd like to add a fourth receiver to that roster, and she's got 2 running backs. So you had the third to give you 3 running backs, and then you have your lead prospect. You don't have a 26 first, which is the end of the world. And I said, if you stay at 2-4, being a 2-man league, that's essentially 2-2. Yep. You're probably going to get a good running back prospect there. So I'm not even necessarily jumping the gun to give up 2-4. That's why I think if I give up 2-4 for 1.8, I'd try to get Aaron Jones back too, to help like bump me up.
Who are you hoping? Who's at 108 that you'd be trading up for that?
Dylan Sampson, Cam Scattaboo, Mecca Buka, Ted McMillan.
You would be picking them at 108?
Yeah.
As Sampson? Okay.
I mean, it depends on, listen, what is draft capital? Like, I mean, there may be a running back that goes, I mean, Caleb Johnson might go high in the second job. Caleb Johnson there, we keep skipping his name. Like, this is, the problem is I have such a big tier. They're all so close. I can say here and say Scattaboo, and Scattaboo goes in the 4th, and Dylan Sampson goes in the 3rd, and Caleb Johnson goes in the 2nd. You know, in the right and better situation, it's going to change things. Now, they probably won't be available there at 1.8, but like, still in the right situation. I think the 2nd and 3rd round this coming Friday is going to be a litter of love of dynasty prospects. We're going to see a lot of receivers and a lot of running backs go on those days. So there's going to be some really good value. So you probably don't want to make that trade. Let's see how the draft pans out first, Carissa. But you're, like you said, you want to throw up or have a stroke looking this team. I think you're in a very fine spot. Having that one, I think that 1-4 is your safety net. It really puts you in a good spot. You have an elite receiving room, you have a very solid tight end room, and you have a good running back room. Your quarterback's fine. Like, this is a very solid roster.
I think you could, so like you mentioned, Rich, a 204 and a 10-teamer is really the 202. Essentially, it's the 14th overall pick, and we think that there's going to be some running back depth there. So that's a valuable pick. If you're going to give that up, and your 26th first, I think you should be able to ask for the 108 and Alvin Kamara. And when they say no, then you can say David Montgomery, and they should say yes. And if they say no, then you get Aaron Jones. But this team's, I'm also looking at it from this other manager. They're going to have to sit 3 of these running backs every week. Yeah. So what good do they do sitting on their bench when they could be getting, you know, something for it? So I'm hoping that that's how that manager is viewing it as well.
Okay.
Ask for it. Doesn't hurt, right? Ask for it.
Ask. You always be surprised.
All right. What do we got next, Pete?
So it's kind of up to you guys. So we got a couple options. Okay. We can answer some questions from the chat.
Yeah.
We have one trade question, or we could help my team. What do you guys feeling like?
We got about 15 minutes or so to go here. So,
how about that trade question? If someone is asking us for some trade advice, let's help them out.
Okay, so
these will be quick answers, and then if we have time, we'll get to your team, Pete.
Yeah. So Tyson's asking Kyron Williams plus a 2026 second for my 105 and 310. and I believe I'm trying to find it. I believe it is a.
It was super
It's a
flex-
one quarterback.
Oh.
One quarterback.
Oh, one quarterback. Yeah.
0.5 point for tight end.
I am not as big on Kyron Williams long term. You know, I don't like his injury history. I don't like how fluid the Rams are able to move off their running back position and put people in there for success. I don't love the long term solution here at Matt Stafford, and that could help ruin the run game. So I think it's a very fair trade. I would probably getting that 26 second back is really nice because you're getting 1.5 and Kyron Williams. But like, I'm probably looking to move off Kyron Williams after this year, and I'd be so happy to get 1.5 in this draft class for it. So I'm probably staying at 1.5 personally. I'm gonna gamble on the upside there of somebody who could beat Kyron Williams or more. So I am going to stay young. I don't like trading for running backs, and I certainly don't like giving top 5 picks up for running backs unless that running back is an absolute proven stud. Like, they got to be in that long-term tier, and I don't view Kyron Williams in a long-term tier by any means. These hashtag 2-3 year windows. So I'm sticking with the picks. I'm going to keep 1.5.
Yeah, I'm there with you. I think if you were to just look at it on paper, Kyron Williams for the 105 and a one quarterback does make some sense. But if I put myself in the shoes of the manager with Kyron Williams, I'm pretty stoked to be able to move off of him and get the 105, and all it cost me was a future second. I would probably make that deal more likely on that side of things. What I would offer, maybe you don't feel the same, Rich, but like a guy like Breece Hall or Kenneth Walker, I'd have more interest in trying to get one of those guys. And you might be able to get a similar plus with Kenneth Walker. You might be able to get a 105 for Breece Hall would probably get it done, honestly, right now with the way things are sounding. But would you still send the 105 for running back? Is just Kyron's not our flavor, or is that not a move at all?
For Breece Hall, I would, but that's the end of that tier. Because right now it's a gamble with the knee and him not bouncing back to the knee injury. It could be, are we looking at Todd Gurley situation, hurt his knee and just, that's it kind of situation. Listen, not everybody, people say, oh, ACLs, everybody comes back. Not everybody comes back the same. And Breece Hall, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I know he said he came back a little bit early, but a lot of people are worried about the knee. A lot of people are worried about all the coaches' comments. It's to be a committee. So I personally love Breece Hall. I love his tape. So I'd be willing to gamble on Breece Hall at 1.5, but that's probably as low as I go on the running back tier.
Okay, we got a question from Dennis.
No.
No.
I don't give up elite young receiving prospects listen, Devontae Smith is amazing. I love him. Could be a low end wide receiver 1, high end wide receiver 2, but like, I'd rather have the guy who's a top 6 guy than 2 wide receiver 2s. And I said no so prematurely, because the more I stare at it, you're just taking a lot of risks. Like, will Kyle Pitts ever be good again? Can Jaden Reed bounce back? Do the Packers draft a receiver in the first round or second round to add to their mix of receivers? Does that hurt Jaden Reed? So it's like, almost to me, you're trading Drake London for Devontae Smith, which I like Devontae Smith a lot, but then you're taking like huge gambles. And for me, when I have an elite young prospect, like, I'm not here to take shots in the dark, right? Like, just give me the elite prospect.
Yeah, I'm with you. I love Devonta Smith. He's one of the only Heisman winners, at a position, at a wide receiver running back. So I like him a lot as far as a player in the NFL, but we haven't seen him get the kind of volume that you need to get unless A.J. Brown has been out. So Drake London is obviously an every week starter. I don't want to get rid of those guys for anybody. And Jaden Reed, not the gambles I want. Maybe if this was a mid-first and Devonta Smith, I would be more interested. But outside of that, I think it's not worth enough to make the gamble that you alluded to.
Sweet. Okay, so let's just look over my team really fast, if I can be super selfish. This is the Dynasty Nerds Invitational League. There are a lot of really sharp people in it, including Dynasty Rich.
Yeah, I'm number 1 in that league, right?
Ooh, yeah, by a healthy margin.
Yeah, let's look at your team first. Jaden Daniels, Justin Herbert.
Not bad.
Jameis Winston. Robinson.
This is the team I started the draft on mushrooms on, by the way. And it was really bad.
Was it this league?
Worked out for you.
Yep. Garrett tricked me. I had a party, started a draft with all the league industry people, like Connor Rogers in this league, Dan Kelly, like a lot of Ben
Graham
Sol-
Barfield,
Yeah,
Working out for you.
there's a lot of sharks in this league.
Ben Solak. But my team is pretty bad. If you look at contender, I'm in last. So I'm looking at trading away the 101 in this league because I am more than just a Genty away. So what are you guys trying to do with this team?
Yeah, move out for 1-1.
Yeah.
And now being an industry league, you got to remember, like, these leagues aren't as active, as home leagues when you deal with people because everybody's just busy and they're in a lot of leagues. But have you had anything? Have you put any offers out there that got rejected for 1-1?
I've put out a lot, including a couple to you, and I believe you laughed at me a couple times. But other than that, though, I haven't been shopping a lot recently.
Okay.
Look at your team quick. Let's break it down for everyone. So we've got Bo Nix, JJ McCarthy, Trevor Lawrence. This is super flex, so that's good enough.
Yep.
I mean, we're hoping McCarthy comes back for you and is a regular starter. Lawrence could definitely take another step with Brian Thomas and a hopefully competent coaching staff. Running backs, you're pretty much non-existent. Tyjae Spears maybe would be a fill-in. Jalen Wright could be an RB2 on a weekly basis, depending on how the draft goes. But at the absolute best, he's a shot in the dark. Wide receivers, JSN, Rashee Rice, Michael Pittman. We've got Jennings as a producer, but not really a long-term asset, and nothing else. Although I will point out, Pete, you have like a dozen zero value wide receivers on this roster, and you could probably cut almost all of them. And
there are no running backs available in this league.
Pick up backup quarterbacks.
It's
a deep
everything's taken. The taxi squads are huge.
That's tough.
You have huge
tight ends,
30-man rosters. So
yeah, wrap it up. Tight ends.
When we run leagues, make sure the waiver wire is dirty. So first off, you have the 1-1. I'm gonna tell you right away. Go to Garrett's team. He's completely willing to overpay for 1-1.
Garrett doesn't want it. He's rebuilding.
Well, I mean, Rich, you should want it. I don't know if you do want it, but you should.
He's fucking. I don't have a lot of like depth to give up. Like that's the problem.
I keep trying to find a deal for Rich's team, but
this is a start 10. I think you've got to get
interesting. What would you give? What would you ask for Matt?
For Matt's team?
Yeah.
And then text him that you wrote him. For 1-1, I would want, what pick does he have?
He has 104, then his
go back up
26 and 27 first.
It's pretty
his
thin.
team's interesting because I feel like it's almost there, but it's also still kind of in a rebuild.
Yeah. Matt's real, like Matt does not overpay. Like he won't overpay for 1-1. And he really likes, it's the thing. Like, what's he going to, like, what are you offering? Like, what are you going to ask for? Are you going to ask for Tucker Kraft? Like, no, you know what I mean? Like TJ, like, no. Like,
what's the least you're willing to take, Pete? Because you could maybe get, there's a manager with 105 and 109. I mean, you could start a conversation moving 101 for 105 and 109. I don't know what else you want with it. That's not enough for me. I need more than 105 and 109. It's second team 2, Du Bois. So, I mean, they've got Najee, but maybe they would be interested in moving 105 and 109 in a deal for Genty.
He's got DJ Moore and Odunze. Go down.
McBride and Andrews. So, I mean, this is a contender for sure. Absolutely, they're contending this year.
I mean, Pete, I'd almost consider asking for a Dunze 1-5 and like his 27-second for 1-1 here.
Okay. So Dunze 1-5
and 1-5 and 27-second.
I'll send that out right now because that's ultimate. Like the hard thing is I need multiple pieces.
Ask
back.
for the 26 first, right? don't you want to ask for the 26 first? I know we want to say the class
Yeah,
isn't
you're
as
not-
great, but it's worth
You're not
one.
going to go Doomsday 1-5 and your 26 first for 1-1. Not this team. I wouldn't.
I mean, it depends how much you like Odunze, right? That's the question. Because
Yeah, but you just
105,
say last year. This isn't. Remember, this is elite. This is a shark analyst league. These guys aren't like they like. I guarantee you, like they're just because Odunze did much last year. These guys aren't like, oh, you know what I mean. These are all very smart players. Like these are all.
Yeah, so this is.
So it's not like you're not getting by on like, oh, it depends how much. Like they just took a Dunze. So like any other shark, they're not gonna be like, well, I'm off a Dunze right away because he didn't do anything. They probably like a Dunze. I don't know. I mean, you could bring up the last year draft in that, Peter, like where they took a Dunze. On Sleeper, you can't do it here, but you see where they took them. Here, you keep talking. I can look for you real quick.
108.
108. So in that deep class, and who they took a Dunze over. You know what I mean? So it's going to be kind of, again, it's going to be hard to get like an extra first. So Peter, would you accept that? I mean, that's kind of like you're taking all the risk on Genty, but you're getting 1-5, so you're getting a really good player back. You're still in that elite tier, and then you're going to get Romo Dunze. I mean, I think the second on top to me is just a cherry on top. Like you're gambling on Odunze. Yep. I like Odunze a lot, but you're right. You're not a running back away. So this is at least going to give you another receiver. Like, can I go back to your team then? Who are going to be top 2 receivers?
Yeah. So, I mean, wide receiver will be looking great then. So JSN, Rice, and then Odunze, Pittman, Jennings. Yeah.
And you probably get a really good running back prospect there. If not, like I said, worst case, because Cam Ward probably slides in there somewhere, bump it down, you're getting Travis Hunter. Like you're totally fine.
Would you be if I got 1-5? Would you be thinking Warren potentially, or is that too early?
I'd want to trade back a couple spots and then take Loveland and Warren. Like I try to trade back to 1-7 if that's the case, and just pick up a second this year if I could.
Yeah,
but that's who you wanted. Again, I'm not drafted for need in my rookie draft. Like I'm taking best player available. I don't care. I don't care if I need a running back more than anything. I had 7 stud receivers and Travis Hunter's there. I'm taking Travis Hunter, and then I'm trading those receivers after the draft. Like,
do you have
1-8?
Ward?
So you have 1-8. You grab a tight end there, so you're fine.
True. Yeah.
So then give you 1-5, 1-8, and a Dunze in a second. And if you don't get it done, then you don't get done. And again, he might not accept it. And you have 2025 2-1.
Yep.
And 2-8 for me. Thanks for Jaden Daniels.
You're welcome. Also for Ladd McConkey.
Yeah, I did.
So generational sell right here. Could have drafted Brian Thomas, drafted Ladd McConkey, which it's good, right? And then traded Ladd McConkey for Luke McCaffrey and a second and third.
Yeah.
That was
that's how you win.
Yeah, that was a whip, buddy. But we all make those mistakes. I've done it. I mean, I traded Monty Ball for Le'Veon Bell straight up their rookie years. Whoops. A daisy. I took Jonathan Brooks over Brian Thomas last year in every league. I had him. I think I took Jonathan Brooks 3 times over Brian Thomas.
If you are a rebuilding team, like a 2026, 2027 team, are you targeting Jonathan Brooks at all? Do you have any hope for him?
You better get him for cheaper. Let the season get in. Let all these other running backs come in and push at him even farther down the ranking set of running backs. Let him be gone a little bit more. Let him not play this year, and his value will go down a little bit more. And definitely if Chuba Hubbard plays well. So I would target him, but it wouldn't be till like mid-season. Okay. I told you, man, my move that I've been doing, and I had 2 more go through this week. Like literally this week, I had 2 more go through. I'm going to the Dynasty GM. I'm bringing up all my teams are in Dynasty mode. Every team that's in the bottom 6, I'm offering my 20. That as long as I'm not a bottom tier team, I'm offering my 26 first and a third this year or a third next year for their 27 first. It's worked now in about 95% of the leagues I offered that in. 95%. It worked. I had 2 more go through today. And one was an analyst league, and their team's not good. Analyst league, I got it done.
I mean, we looked at your roster. My biggest piece of advice for you is that you have to have the 101 next year because you have 3 quarterbacks that'll probably still be valid next year. And if Arch Manning comes out, I mean, you've got to.
He's got 3 quarterbacks, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, 3 quarterbacks, but he doesn't have a running back right now. And everyone else here, he doesn't have a tight end or running back. He's missing 2 positions completely. Doesn't even have a starter right now, really.
Yeah, but the other
So-
teams, there's some there's some bad teams. in that
That's what
league.
my advice to him is, though. Get to be the worst team in this. Like, that's my advice is you got to get the 101. Because if you don't get the 101, like you're saying, Rich, if he gets the 103, where does this team go for next year? Because he can't flip the 103 the same way that he can do that
Yeah, but he's flipping to 101.
this year. But he's not contending after doing that this year either.
So in contender mode, Peter is he isn't last.
Yeah.
Maybe. But listen, I don't think Archman's probably gonna even come out next year anyway. So
You don't think so? I mean, if he
No,
did, I
it'll
think
be
that 101
2027.
makes it. That 101 would be worth a lot in a league like this, but especially because Garrett would overpay for Arch Manning. Garrett likes to pay for quarterbacks.
Those 2027 picks are going to be so hyped, and I am one of the people hyping them up. Though
that's
that class is going to be
That's
stacked.
why every league I'm in, I'm acquiring them now.
Yep.
Acquiring them now because they're going to get it's going to be a class. So. All right, we'll be back Wednesday with more roster reviews. Scan that barcode. I won't be here Wednesday. I'll be at the Yankees-Indians game, so can't wait for that. So you boys have fun with Garrett Price, and after that, we'll be back after the NFL draft. So I'm sure we'll have a lot of roster rescues to go from there and draft questions, and it'd be fun. Maybe even try and do a draft pick show. So thanks, boys. It was fun, and I'll see you guys in person on Thursday.
Yep.
Sounds good.
And remember, we have the Nerd Score live stream tonight. We're also releasing our top 18 rookie wide receivers video at 2:30. So stick around for that. So see you guys.
Locally. Later, boys.